This is the step information that we're going to get today. I only like to talk about one thing, and that is actually mastering credit to get money. I like money. I want to take you guys to get some money. That's what this whole thing is about, is taking you guys to get some money and mastering it from that particular avenue as well. All right, so listen, let's get started in here right now. I got my girl Kim, and this came in. Kim, what's going on? How you doing, Kim? How are you doing?
Good morning. No, I'm well. Thank you.
Okay, Kim, so tell me, where are you from?
Delaware.
Okay, shout out to Delaware in the building. And what is it that you do?
I work for the government.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So let me get into this right quick. So Kim, you're gonna pay attention. We got this stuff together. All right, so listen, here's the three things that I have to do. All right, three things that I have three common goals that I have to do in here. Number one, right, is I have to get you to the money. We can't play around with the money. We're not gonna talk about the money. We're not gonna laugh about the money. I gotta get you to the money. That's always the number one criteria for with this. Number two is I gotta get you there fast. I can't sit around and play with you. I gotta get you to the money fast. I got to get you to the money fast. And number three, I got to make sure that I'm giving you accurate information, right? Accurate information. So I got to get you to the money. I got to get you to the money fast. And I got to give you accurate information in order to get there, right? I think that we can all be incoherent pertaining to those three. That's where we at. So listen, when it comes to these things, right? When it comes to this, I do it in these three methods. Number one, in order to get to the money, right? We got to understand that we got to get to the money. So we got us a clear understanding. Number two is we have to sell something. We have to sell something. See, sometimes people sell time for money. That's okay. You exchanging your time for money. It's okay. Don't let nobody else downplay you or none of that, right? If you want to make more money, you got to get more time and you got to trade it back in for money. So that means that you may have to get a second job, right? Number three, after you get time for money, maybe you got a product that you can sell. Maybe you got a service that you can sell. Whatever it is, we got to make money off of it, right? And number three, amongst everything else, after you sell something, you got to make a profit. I don't care about, listen, I get it. The good Lord, I get all that. I get you woke up and you had a dream. We have to make a profit. We have to make a profit. A profit is one of the profit is what we after. The profit is what we got to get. We have to make a profit. Profit is what we after. Don't let nobody else don't let nobody tell you the sad story about how you can have a loss in the first 3 years and then you can go off of that. You cannot have a loss in the first 3 years, right? You can have a loss in the first 3 years pertaining to business. It sounds cool, but in order to go get some money from these banking institutions, we got to show wins. And so how do we show wins? We document every dollar that comes in the house. We document every dollar that comes in the house. I was talking to somebody the other day. They was telling me about how they had $50,000 and they went and bought some lights. They went and bought some light fixtures. They went and bought some plates. They bought all of these things for their business, and this is a restaurant. They did not buy the food. What we're concentrating on here this morning is we're concentrating on things that can make us money now. We're not looking to try to make us money down the road. We're looking into how we can make money today. That's it. That's what matters. How do we make money today? Right? I teach this credit in three simple processes. Number one, you must have good personal credit. So if anybody ever tells you, hey man, you don't have to have good personal credit. I want you to find you some Air Maxes. I want you to find you some Asics, some Adidas. I want you to find whatever you can find, and I want you to run fast as hell. I want you to run so fast that it'll leave your hair behind. Listen, you must run from them. You must run from them. Like, listen, these are the things that we got to get into. You must have good personal credit. It ain't no secret to it. It ain't no go around the block. It ain't like I'm trying. No, we must have good personal credit, and that's what we after. We got to have good personal credit. Good personal credit. Now, what does good personal credit mean? Right? Good personal credit means that you don't have any derogatories, no late payments, no charge-offs, no collections, no repos, no bankruptcies, no foreclosures, and you must have great personal information on your credit profile. Now, what does great personal information even mean? Means that when I look on stage, the name that is on your ID should be the name that is on your application. I'm gonna say that again. The name that is on your ID should be the name that is on your application. So if you're applying for something, which means that you're saying, hey, I would like to get that new furniture. I would like to get that new car. I would like to go get another credit card. I would like to buy a house. Whatever it is that you're applying for, you must make sure that on that application that you're using your name that is on your ID. We're not doing that. So Big Bob, I know we call you Big Bob. We've been calling you Big Bob forever. But on your driver's license, on your birth certificate, it says Robert. So what we're going to do on these applications, we're going to put the name called Robert on these applications. Why do you want to put those names as opposed to any others? Because what happens is you have a cross reference of names that are on there. And anytime that you have cross reference, you can get what you call a denial based upon this, right? And so what we try to do is we try to limit the amount of denials, especially when it comes to underwriting. The underwriting comes in three forms. It comes in manual underwriting, team underwriting, and an individual person, which is called an underwriter. Now, a team is a team of individuals that take a look at something. Automation is where it's a computerized system where they put in specific points about what they want to look at, and it automated and generates and gives you an answer. So you probably seen this when you guys apply online for things. You can see that on this application, it would generate certain things that are on there, right? So that's the things that we got to watch out for pertaining to that method of it as well, right? So you must making sure that you have good personal credit, and we start off with making sure that you got good personal information, those different addresses that you have. And I get it that you could have stayed at a bunch of different places, and so what you want to make sure is that you actually are don't have all of those different addresses on your credit profile. You want to make sure that you have one address, two addresses on your credit profile. Having 7, 8 different addresses on your credit profile is not the thing to do. Okay, it's not the thing to do. So if you are in a situation, and I get it, people can be in situations, right? You can be in situations where you might not be stable at this moment. We get that, we understand that. But what we are saying is that my mail is going to one specific location, not my bounce around. So even though I may be in the in-town suites, my mail is not going to in-town suites. I'm not putting in-town suites address on any application that I use. Right? We want to make sure that we send our address over. Maybe you can use your mom address, or maybe you can use your pop's address, or your granny's address, or your aunt address, right? Using somebody who has a stable address and leaving it there until you actually got the stuff together for pertaining to it on that end, okay? So next off, after you got your personal information on there, especially things such as your job, you want to make sure that you're in the same rim of jobs. You don't want to have 5 and 6 different types of jobs. You can have different jobs on there, but you want to be able to show that you're in the same field or the same line of work, right? That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you're in the same field or the same line of work, right? So you want to make sure that you have that on there, right? So you covered that basis, right? So on your personal information, again, like I said, you can't have any late payments, no charge-offs, no collections, no repossessions, no foreclosures, no bankruptcies. So going back over here earlier when I was listening to Info Pete talk, one of the things Info Pete talked about was he was like, hey, I desire a 800 credit score, right? So what we're here to tell him today is the credit score does not matter. What does matter are the contents that are on your credit profile. So the contents are considered trade lines, right? Trade lines are anyone that a lender gives you information for and they report that is called a trade line, right? So for example, if you borrowed $40 from your mother and your mother reported to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, which are considered credit reporting agencies, right? And she reported that, at that moment, your mother would be a trade line on your credit. So think about all the things that could be trade lines. Things like your Macy's credit card bill can be a trade line. Maybe that Capital One card is a trade line. Maybe that furniture that you bought down the street from you called Bob's Furniture Market, it can also be a trade line, right? What about if you start talking about your automobile that you got from GM Financial, right? What about the Santander loan that you have? What about all of these different measurements? What about your home mortgage? That can be a trade line. And as of now, you can also put things on your credit, such as your rental history. That can also go on your trade line, your credit profile as a trade line as well, right? We only want to make sure that we got positive things on your trade line. Positive means that we have our account in good standing, and we do not show any late payments, charge-offs, or collections and repos and foreclosures and bankruptcies on our credit profile, right? So we want to make sure that we got that in, right? We also want to make sure that you got things from Power 8 banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, Citi, Capital One, U.S. Bank, Truist, PNC. You want to make sure that you got those items that are showing on there. Man, we hold on. I got to pause for a second. I just got to pause. Is it all right if I pause? Delisi, is it all right if I pause?
You good?
You know what I mean? I just want to make sure if it's all right if I pause. You know what I mean? Because I have to acknowledge I go so fast sometimes that sometimes people are like, "Flame, slow the fuck down." You know what I mean? Because I do this everywhere. Kim, are you getting something out of this? I'm talking to Kim.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure you get something out of it. And for Pete, talk to me.
Yeah. I'm running out of steps. Name. So let me ask, do it include in middle initial or full middle name when you're putting down on whatever it is you're applying for?
You want to keep your name the same at all times.
Sure.
So today, if you go by info Pete, your name,
Pete is
info,
my name. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Sure.
So if you, I'm just using info Pete as the name. So
No,
just bear with me. So if you go by info and your last name is Pete, it'd be info Pete. But if you sign your name and if your name is info Marvin Pete and you put a info M Pete, just put info M Pete because you've been going by that. The thing about it is today you want to go by info M Pete. Tomorrow you want to go by info Marvin Pete. And the following day you want to go by Marvin Pete. The next day you want to go by Marv Pete. When I look at your credit report, it shows all of those different name variations on your credit profile.
Thank you.
You got me now?
Can I add on a question to that then?
Yeah, come on, let's roll.
Yeah, because my name is spelled with an E, so sometimes folks think they're fixing it for me and they add an I, so I have a lot of different spellings on my name. Is there a way to fix it?
Yes. Great point. Right? So what you want to do is, for starters, is have your ID out and contact Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion and tell them to delete those other names that are on your credit profile. And the way that you do it is send a copy of your credit report showing those names, and you can circle them, highlight them, you know how you want to do them, right? And tell them saying you have an obligation to report accurate information. And what I'm showing you is that this is inaccurate. So please correct this and update this to the current spelling of my name.
Nice, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes, man, I have a knack for not trying to make stuff too difficult. So at any given time, if I say something and it sounds, hey, say, Flame, man, break that down. Because just like anybody in any profession, you can do something for so long that the simple stuff for me may be difficult for you, but then that also gives me a chance to say, you know what? Let me break that down. Let me break that down. Okay. So I appreciate it. So that's how that stuff works, is that you want to make sure those name variations are right and that you care about the contents that's on your credit profile, not the credit score, because you can have a score called a Fugazi. Now, Fugazi is a score that can look real good and be really bad. You say, well, what you mean, Flame? Well, a person can have a 780 credit score, and their 780 credit score can look worse than a person that has a 680 credit score. Well, I'm not understanding that, Flame. Their score is 100 points more. There's no way. Let's talk about it. The person with a 780 credit score is 47 years old. They have one account on their credit report, and that one account is from September of 2021. But a person that has a 680 credit score has 24 different accounts. And they're 42 years old, and their oldest account is from 2004. So the longer that you had something on your credit report, as well as having many different lenders and having different amounts on your credit, means your limits. You got high value limits. You got $15,000, $20,000 limits. You got a mortgage that's $360,000. You have future cars that are closed accounts. You got current car closed account. You got all of these different credit cards that are on your credit profile. So what you're doing is that you're showing a more sustainability credit profile as a person that is new and may only have one account. People are more scared of taking a chance on that particular person.